right?
Yeah.
We know we have to change the way we respond. But why is it as we as believers as quickly say, I ain't been saved all my life?
Mm.
Why we still participate in certain things.
We make excuses of why we participate in certain things, Apostle said, for those of you that did not hear him. But one of the biggest things that I look at this morning is that if we continue to make excuses, how can we get to where the Lord is taking us?
That's a good question.
Apostle said the road becomes hard. So that means our trials become greater, right?
Yep.
Do we really necessarily want to deal with greater trials?
No.
Do we, wait a minute, so let me know here. Do trials only come to grown people?
No, it comes to children too, but it helps us build us and to grow us.
All right, it comes to children too. So, is God is only for grown people? Because see, a lot of times children get programmed and because of things that has been taught to other children, and they come in and they teach your children what they've been taught. So now children don't have the understanding that you need salvation as well as your parents need it, right or wrong?
That's right.
All right, because I remember I grew up in a church where it said that I wasn't responsible for my sins until I was 12.
Yeah, I heard that.
You heard that?
I also heard it went back and said until you understood.
When you knew the difference between right and wrong.
That's when they started shooting.
Yeah, a lot of children started understanding earlier.
Exactly.
Way earlier than that.
See what I'm saying? But how many children learned that, and then whenever they was growing up, they felt that they could do anything?
A lot, because the parents made it easy for the child to continue to do wrong, and you harmed them in it because they were taught that the word supposedly said that the child was not held wrong or held accountable for their sins until they were 12, and the parent was responsible for it. There's nowhere in that word that says that. So now you got children that were murdering folk, they were molesting kids, they were doing things, they were robbing and stealing, and the parent was held accountable. If that was the case, you know how many parents would be in jail right now? We were held accountable for it. They just wrote a law.
They just wrote a law somewhere.
Or in Fulton County, that if these parents don't put these children in check and stop them, when the children get in trouble, the parent going to jail. So the parent now got to be responsible.
It used to be like that.
Yeah.
It's not like that no more. Because of the fact, we got to remember that we live in a time now, even the word let us know that when children come, they will become weaker, but they will be wiser. Wiser and weaker.
No, I mean, you're right, but it's actually wiser and weaker.
I feel like you can understand twerking, and dad on it, you can understand.
But we teach them the things of the world first before we teach them the things of God. And there's nothing wrong with them doing the things of the world, but you need to help them to understand the things of God first.
They can do these rap songs, but then you can't do these schoolwork.
Exactly.
Some of these rappers, I can't understand the word they say.
Nope.
But now that's why we as parents first have to do our part. Because of the fact God holds us responsible, like you say, just like I said it, and I didn't realize that you were saying the same thing because you was in a whole different area and you still felt the same way that I felt. That because of the fact God instilled you to me, He's holding me accountable for what I teach you and do before you. So I have to recognize the gift that has been given. A lot of us don't recognize our children as gifts, though, because if we did, we wouldn't be sharing the videos of our kids cussing. We wouldn't be sharing the videos of our little girls out here shaking their behind. I got upset whenever the woman there in Washington, D.C., I think it was, when her son decided that he wanted to be a part of the protest. But because of the violence that had happened, she went and got her child and she beat the child. And they had it on video. The judge got her. Well, guess what she did? When she felt that was right to keep her son protected. A lot of us don't go beyond the duties of keeping our children protected. Yeah, so now that means...
With that being said, that's a double-edged sword too, Kim, because we protect them to an extent that we hurt them, because we're not holding them accountable for the things that we have taught them.
Right.
That's the thing too. So then we still are going to be held accountable, even if they are of age, because we're not giving them that chance to put forth what we've instilled in them.
And that makes sense.
So it's one of those shifting issues.
So that's back to what we're saying now. Mm-hmm. That we get caught up with the things of the world, but we decide that we want to neglect who God really is.
That's right.
That's basically going back to what we were talking about in the beginning. It's back to the scripture. It's because of the fact we get caught up and get
same way when we see the world and we forget to trust God.
Mm-hmm.
We see the world, and when it's time for us to hold our children accountable, we too much looking at the world and not trusting that. Because I always figure like this: the whole purpose of giving your child back in the beginning to God is because He should protect you over there.
Right.
So if you don't
That's
trust
basically what it
that, then why did you do it? I mean, because my thing is, as hard as it is to accept the fact your child finna go out there, you have to believe, okay, I done covered him in God, I done told him everything God told me to tell him. Now,
Right.
if they don't do that,
It's on them.
It's
It's not on
on
us.
them. And it goes back to what you just said as well. We want to hold them accountable for righteous things we teach them, but all the wrong stuff we did in front of them that we indirectly taught them, and the things that we directly taught them, what you were just saying, we don't want to hold them accountable for it because now we want to just wash that under the table.
and I think that's the thing, is to get the difference between holding them accountable and protecting them.
Right.
There is a difference. It don't make you any less protected because you're holding them accountable.
It doesn't make you less of a parent either, less of a mother, less than a father, because it now makes you more because they know now that you are protecting them because you held them accountable because their actions now go depict what they're going to become as they go on. Good. I'm sorry.
All right, let's go
This
down to
good.
verse 3 because y'all
This
need to verse 3. It says, among whom also we all had our conversations in time and past, the lust of the flesh, the lust of our flesh, fulfilling the desires of the flesh and of the mind, and were by nature the children of wrath, even as others. But God, who is rich in mercy, for his great love wherein he loves us. That's basically all it says, is that we got to get it back right.
Yeah.
Get back
We got to get back in line.
Yes.
We can't stay where we was at. So now that when we realize that we messed up, and one of the biggest things that I look at is I remember when I came up pregnant with Christian, and a lot of people had a bunch of controversy because of the fact I sat down and I talked to my child. One of the things is that I look at that I am first your first teacher. The world will teach you through commercials and all types of stuff. They're going to teach you. They're going to teach you through music, like you said, with all the rapping and all of that stuff. And you just sat down and talked a couple of weeks ago, me, you, and John, when we were sitting at the table, and we was talking about to Christian the difference in how music used to disguise what they was talking about. Now they're upfront, blank, and straight to the point. There's no curve, there is no imagination, there is nothing to the music. They telling you what they want.
I think they had more. I think they had more respect because even though
Right.
you make music, you still want your grandma. You want to be able to run home and be like, "Grandma, I made a song. Listen to the song."
Right.
You
Yeah.
can't do that now.
Right,
You
now.
know, because you know pretty well your grandma ain't gonna want to hear it.
Well, that's why Betty Wright said that she wrote a poem, and when her mama heard it, her mama said, I know you're not going to say that song.
So you had to figure out a way to say it
Without,
and still be able to share it with the people.
Right,
that
and be
actually meant
respectful
something to you.
about it.
Right.
but
But now
think
we
about
got to
it.
think about it because music started changing even when we were young.
Right, but I want to tease you, but I also want to make a point. Also, you said like when I came up pregnant with Christian, and the funny thing is, if you know you out there doing something, you're not protecting yourself. It ain't such a thing, right? And that's why I said I won't pick with you, but I won't tell the truth because I've heard this even when I was a child. I heard the old folks say, "Well, child, I came up." No, baby, you ain't came up pregnant. You was out doing stuff that you know that grown folk did, and you were playing around with something that you knew was gonna get you a child like everybody else got. So you ain't just came up pregnant. You were doing stuff that would get you pregnant, and what happened was you didn't protect yourself. So listen up and listen. No, listen. Woman of God, listen. That ain't convict. That's why I said I want you to listen at me, pick at you, but I want to make a point. So don't feel convicted. Don't feel. No, yeah, you did because the way you listen. No, you missing it. Woman of God, you're missing it. Your whole demeanor shifted and changed when I said it. I want you to catch the point of what I'm saying. Because when you said it in the kitchen, God gave me something. That's why I told you I need you to listen at me, pick at you. And I also need you to listen at the point I'm getting ready to make. It goes to everything that we say is the fact that we don't do what's necessary to protect ourselves. Where we went, we were given the right information to make sure that we were protected. But did we use what was needed to make sure we were protected so that we didn't just happen to come up or came up with something? And because we didn't use the right protection, Now we got something that we got to hold on for the rest of our life. Now we ain't got no choice but to be responsible. Now let's go back to what y'all just said. But do we take that responsibility and hold it when it get old enough to be responsible so that it don't just come over when we came over? You follow me now? That's why I would say it wasn't good. Because see, you took a defensive stand and you didn't realize it. Whereas that I wasn't trying to convict you and make you feel bad. I wanted you to hear what God was giving me in the kitchen, and that is everything you just said goes to I just came up pregnant. No, you knew what you were doing because you were doing something that you knew that you had fun with in time past. In time past, you did this. In time past, you enjoyed the pleasures of the flesh. The pleasures of the flesh enjoyed playing with another grown person like yourself, the opposite of yourself, which was a male. And while playing with it, it brought you to a place that now it produced a child. And although it was on your mind, but not on your mind, you didn't use the proper protection to make sure that a child didn't come about. Right or wrong?
Right.
In time past, we did a whole lot of stuff that we're going to get us in jail.
Too much protection into the fun.
Right. And that's what happened. Now, I'm glad you said that. So listen to what y'all just said.
Work
Right. But check it out.
That's what I used to think too much God go into my fun.
Now, and you know what, Pam? You made a point that I'm pretty sure a whole lot of folk like yourself that won't tell the truth probably thought the same way. If I let God in too much of what I'm doing, I'm not going to have the fun that I want to have. So now,
the people they look like they had fun. They
They
look
got
so
right.
Check
it out. And everything y'all just said, that's why I said that this is to pick at you, but this is also to make the point. That's why saved folk gotta stop getting on guard when folks saying stuff and think somebody trying to convict you or make you feel bad. No, that was to show the point, and here it is. God just did it, but you took the defensive stand, so you can't receive what God trying to show you, because that's done and over. That's done and no, baby. Yeah, it's done and over. But listen to what God said. Now you can pass it on because He just gave you more wisdom and knowledge in the thing that you were protecting. So now you can pass it on. You follow? He just showed me that in the kitchen. I ain't been doing that. Be careful, baby. He just showed me that pouring some more coffee in a cup. And while pouring coffee in the cup, when you said I came up pregnant, God said, no. Listen at what they're teaching and listen at all what's saying. When you look at it, the protection was there, but you chose not to use it. Then when your sister made it even simple, too much God take away from the fun. That's what happened with sin. Sin won't allow you to, God won't allow you to have the fun you want to have the way you want to have it. So when you take God out, you have the fun the way you want to have it. But what happens now, you find yourself in peril, you find yourself in trouble, or you find yourself dead or in jail,
Right.
or going to hell. But when God is in it, God prevented. But here's what God does, because as you go further, by the time you get down to verse 4 and 5, before you get to verse 6, 7, 8, and 9, now He's giving you an opportunity to come back to Him and forgive you. Oh, there you go.
All right. If you think we arguing on Facebook Live, please let me correct you and let you know we're not arguing. We're
You
enjoying
don't
the
sit at the
conversation.
round table and really hear how we go down.
So now that Apostle done took us on down there to verse 4, 5, and 6. He done jumped us on down because of the fact we still have to remember that we now can get it back right. We ain't got to go sacrifice no animals.
Thank you, Jesus.
We ain't got to we ain't got to go out and do no rituals. We can go back to the Lord and ask for forgiveness. And whenever I was saying that, that's what I was trying to get to before Apostle took over, is that I took it and I took what I did and what had happened, and I shared it with my son so that he didn't have to do the same thing or make the same decisions that I
Because
made.
you share it don't mean they always listen.
They
That's
don't.
one thing
They
you
don't.
hold yourself.
But how many times did we listen?
Because I share with my son all the stuff I done been through, and he know right and wrong all that, but I can jump around if he dealing with the same thing at 21 that I had to deal with at 21. But I didn't set the example, so now he's dealing with it like he's supposed to.
Exactly.
It might not have happened the way I wanted it to happen, and he might not have got the lessons the way I want him, but I know he know him. So it does make me feel a little better. I didn't want him to have to show me that way that he know him.
This stuff is like a person trying to run out of the door to go to work and still try to be a part of the institute. All right, have a good
See,
day, honey.
that's the sacrifice that you give God. I know I got to be in one place, but because this is so good in the Lord, let me get mine in, and that's where God blesses you in spite of. Let me leave it alone.
All All right. So now that we know, as Pam jumped on in there and said, even though whenever we teach you, but guess what? That's what happens when we fall into sin. When we know that we're going against what God taught us, we don't want to deal with the outcome of what comes afterwards. We have a hard time walking in what? Obedience.
That's right.
We have a hard time walking in obedience. Even our children show rebellion.
Yeah.
Even our children, you ain't got to point at yourself, because guess what? Even as we as grown people, we walk in rebellion. And we walk in rebellion because the Lord tell you every day, love thy neighbor, ask thyself. Guess what? How many of us hold hatred and bitterness in our heart?
Whole bunch of us.
I ain't gonna sit and tell no lie.
A whole bunch of us. But is that not one of the things that the Lord told us to do? If
That's
you
right.
go over in Matthew, one of the things that he told us is not to have another God before him. That's the greatest commandment, right?
Mhm.
And after that, it says to love our neighbor, right?
Mhm.
That we're supposed to still love, right? So guess what? How many times a day do we change who we serve?
All day long, some of us, if you ain't careful, depending on what it is you doing, whether it's a woman, a man, whether it's a club, whether it's a song, whether it's a game. You know, come football season, how many gods gonna be changed every Sunday when football season comes?
Yeah, because a whole lot of people ain't gonna be in church.
Well, think about
They're
that.
gonna be like, the game come on at 12. I gotta be back to the house by 12.
Well, most of
so
them
then
gonna
they
find
catch the early service.
well, there you go, because that's what I'm going. Most of them gonna find the church service gonna start early in the morning, and they're gonna make sure they get to it. You know, and it is what it is, but we find more ways of making sure the things that we want to do, we do, and yet God protect us in the things that we go and do while we give him half of our heart, half of our time, and half of it ain't really half. We better give God a 16 of what we really should be giving him, but God give us all of him while we giving him less than a 16.
Oh. But now that we sitting here, and we have now came to the place to where we know that we still mess up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do we get it right immediately?
Mm-hmm.
You're right, Christian, we don't.
We
Should we get it right? How many times will you get in trouble? And this one I don't want you to answer. I want these girls to answer this one. How many times we get in trouble and mama get down on you and you sit there mad and pouting and you won't say nothing? 100. Do you try to get it right? Or do you wait a little while before you do it?
Girl,
Sometimes we wait, don't we?
we just don't.
Sometimes we respond back quicker pertaining to what it is. Do you not know that's what we do with God? And that's where I was going with it. Wait to put you on the spot, but I want you to think. Because even we as grown people, we do the same thing.
Yeah.
Pertaining to what it is, we'll sit there and we'll ponder on it. But now let me help you out. Whenever you do that, now you have now gotten to the place that you are walking out of grace.
Mm-hmm.
Anything can happen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Disobedience causes destruction. Whenever mama tells you not to mess with that candy and you mess with it, what if that candy's outdated? And that candy make you sick? Now mama's sitting there trying to figure out what's got you sick and why you not feeling good. Because of the fact you have not eaten something or have absorbed something that you should not have absorbed. You shouldn't have had it in your mouth in the first place. Right or wrong?
Right.
But guess what? Even that happens to us. God tell you, look, I sent you to Georgia to do such and such. You got life in Georgia. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That happens to a lot of people. You move somewhere else, and instead of you doing what you're supposed to. I remember whenever my sister first got here, one of the biggest things that I told my niece when she walked in the door, don't get down here and get caught up doing what other kids are doing. Ain't that what I'm saying? Do you not know that's what God do to us too? Is that whenever I take you from one location to another, what happened to the rich man? The prodigal son, the man that had the son, right?
He went away, he spent all his money for partying and everything, but now he got to come back home.
He enjoyed the good life, right? But before he came home, guess what he did? What did happen? What did he didn't just, after he spent all his money, he went home.
He went to the pig store.
He started working and found out while he was down there working and feeding them hoes and he was hungry, his stomach talking to him, and he's sitting there trying not to go call his daddy. You know how we do. Even I done did it. So you hit a hard spot and you don't want to call nobody. You sitting there trying to work it out yourself, trying to figure it out how to do it without having to say anything to anybody. Right? That's what tended to happen to him. He was sitting down there, he was feeding that hog, and that hog was eating. You ever seen hogs eat?
Yes.
Hogs eat just like this.
It eats like pigs.
You know how, have you ever seen one eat?
Yeah.
If you ever see one eat, everything all mixed together, well, from they add water to it, and they call it slop. And it stank, the flies be flying around it, and all types of stuff. But he bought himself to think about eating with that. See, whenever you walk into disobedience, you are about it. Anything you will do, anything you will try anything. That's what disobedience do. The word let us know that the devil comes to rob, kill, and destroy. What I say? Rob, kill, and destroy. Which means he's trying to take you out of existence. He's trying to wipe you out. But guess how many people actually lose their life because of the fact they choose to walk in disobedience? A lot of people tend to fall into disobedience. Even us as believers, we tend to fall into disobedience. Rebellion is disobedience. Whenever we don't do what's right. One of the biggest things that I look at, and I'm going to get ready to move on out the way, is that we as a group of people, we struggle with love. We're going to pick back up on this next Sunday. I'm going to tell y'all that now. Because we ain't got down to where I needed us to get to. But the thing of it is that we struggle with love. It's easy to say, I love you. People make it hard to show that they love me.
Mm-hmm.
Right or wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Christian, you struggle with that all the time. I still post on Facebook. One week you talk about you in love with this chick, and the next week you done posted up another one. Baby, you ain't know what love is. You ain't found it yet. I ain't calling you out, but that's what we do when we 19 and 20. Ain't that right, Apostle?
Yeah.
We have an image. Apostle, you can get ready to take off.
I don't know.
We have an image and a glimpse of what love is, but we really don't display what real love is.
I don't know.
All right, at this time, we're going to shift from our morning into the play hands and the hands of our
I
apostle.
don't know what you're talking about.
Amen, amen, amen. We thank God for this Ford Sunday. He said, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not sure what you're talking about. That ain't me. I don't shift like that. You talk about the wrong person. That just ain't me. I don't shift in between women like that. I don't know what he talking about. It's just she got the wrong person.
Oh, no.
That ain't me, man. That ain't me. I don't do that. I ain't in that boat right there. She in the wrong ballpark.
The wrong people.
But we're grateful because when you look at everything that Paul is talking about, that because when you look at grace and how he allowed us in time past, even in our youth, before that, there are a lot of young folk that may not be saved now, but before they got to the place that they are and started doing the thing that is right or the thing that their parent wanted them to do in their time past. You understand? They were doing some disobedient things. They were doing some things that their parent didn't care for. The parent didn't like. The parent had to correct them, 4 or 5 times in an hour, 3 or 4 times in a day, 7 or 8 times in a week. And they finally got the picture of what their parent was saying. So in time past, they allowed their flesh to get ahead of them because they were influenced by either things they saw on television, things they heard in music, people they saw in the neighborhood, people they was around in school. They thought that this was the right thing to do. They were influenced by in time past. In other words, before you got to the place that you are now, this is what you were doing before that. You did what you did because you saw your parent doing something, but you didn't know why your parent was doing what they were doing. You saw mama doing this. You saw daddy doing that. You heard mama talking like this. You heard daddy talking like that, but you cut the tail end of why they were doing it. So you figured it was all right for you to do it. You heard daddy talking to mama like that, so you thought it was all right for you to handle mama like that. You heard mama talking to daddy like that, so you thought it was all right for you to talk to daddy like that. You heard your brother talking to your sister like that, so you thought it was all right for you to do the same. Come on, y'all talk to me.
That's right.
In time past. Am I right about it?
So when Paul wrote that to the church at Ephesus, he wanted them to understand why his son Timothy was down there, and then John had pastored down in Ephesus, and he wanted them to understand. Peter had some folk down in Ephesus, and they all, because see, they weren't just in the same area, but they were scattered abroad in these areas, but they encouraged in some of the same similar ways. Am I right?
Right.
We are not all in the same areas in the state of Georgia, the state of Louisiana, the state of Mississippi, the state of Alabama, the state of New York, the District of Columbia, the state of California. Y'all talk to me.
Right.
The state of New Mexico. We're not on the same side of the world over in Africa, in Lagos and Nigeria and all of these, and all of these, Liberia. We ain't in the same places in Nigeria and so on and so forth. We're in around the same places around the Nile, South Africa, in the up part of South Africa, in the down part of South Africa, in the business district. Come on, I need y'all to talk to me. So when we look at it, Paul wanted them to understand that in time past, this is what you did, but God's grace and his mercy toward your mama was merciful to you.
Come on.
You didn't deserve it, but she saw that you kept your word. She saw you were doing what needed to be done. She saw you ain't just been good for an hour and you expect mama to give you your way.
Come on.
Y'all talk to me. See, we expect God to give us what we want because for a day or two, we ain't do nobody wrong. We ain't tell nobody off. We ain't had no room for thoughts. We were loving on everybody. We were kind. We were giving stuff away. We were doing right under people. Now we expect God to bless. How did you do it longer than a day or two?
No.
Right?
No.
For you folk that still like and still listen around, T.I. said in one of his songs, y'all gonna throw a party, for a day or two. T.I. said we do it for a month or two.
Right.
In other words, have you done this for 2 or 3 months where you were right to folk, where you were doing folk right, where you were kind, loving to one another, you forgave folk, you forgot what they did, you didn't bring it up, you didn't allow yourself to think about the fact that they had wronged you. Matter of fact, in your own home, have you really forgiven your husband because there was some wrong that he did?
Come on.
Did you really forgive your child?
Right.
Did you really forgive your wife?
Come on.
Some of y'all still holding over your mom and your daddy head, and your mom and daddy dead and gone, and you still can't find it in your heart to forgive the things that they did. Some of y'all don't know your mother and your father. Never met them.
Right.
You were given up at birth. Come on, y'all need y'all to get it. He said in time past. He said because we ran in these sets and we ran in these sets. Sets, S-E-T-S, sex, E-S-E-C-S. Come on, y'all. But we got to look at it. He said, but then, because of the blindness of our heart, the blindness of our mind, the misunderstanding, because of the desires of our flesh, because we done these things, this is what happened. But at the end of the day, God knew exactly where we would be at. He knew exactly what it was that we would do. He knew who we were because he created us in his image and in his likeness. He knew that we would eventually come back. Am I right about it?
Right.
Our parents know exactly who we are. Our parents know what we are made of. They know what we have instilled in us. And let me put this peg here because oftentimes all of us have been faced with the fact, your mama's side or your daddy's side, they ain't come from my side of the family. My side of the family don't act like that. And going well, your side of the family got some of them same mannerisms. They got some of them same characteristics. They act some of them same way. They got some of them same mental issues. Y'all talk to me. Walking down all our street because we all tend to say that because we don't want to be accountable that all of our families act like the other side of the family.
Yes.
Because we don't want to be responsible because our child acting like Uncle Bobby, Uncle Billy, Uncle Bob, Uncle Billy Bob, Uncle Jim Bob, Uncle, Auntie Lala, Aunt Susie. Ain't minute and ain't, nobody wanted around and everybody forgot about it because your grandmother didn't want to tell you you had an 8 minute and had wound up going into the crazy house.
Right.
Y'all talk to me. In time past. But what brought them to that place? What happened? Come on, y'all.
Yeah.
They won't tell you that you had family members that, had issues with them. But they don't want to tell you why.
Come on.
And it's good to know what's going on in your family. Now, this may not make sense to nobody, but when you look at it, for by grace are you saved through faith.
faith, Paul said, listen, your faith brought you here because it was the preaching of the gospel of Jesus Christ, him crucified and risen. If you look throughout this word, it never said he was a black man, God never said he was a white man, God never said he was an Asian man, God never said he was a Puerto Rican, God never said he was a Latino God. He said Jesus Christ, him risen. Come down through 42 generations. He ain't never specified a race of folk. The only race, well, let me rephrase it. The only race he went to his own. Because God chose a people. The reason why he chose the folk, because they served an unknown God, a God that had not been created by the hands of man. They served a God that they was able to hear, that spoke to them, but they wasn't able to see visibly with their eyes.
Amen.
And when he allowed them to see the visibility of his handiwork, they didn't start praising the red bird. They didn't start praising the blue bird. They didn't start praising the black bat, the brown bat. They didn't start praising the Maltese cat. They didn't start praising the dog. Come on. Can I help y'all?
Yes.
They didn't praise the eagle. They didn't praise the desert eagle. Come on, y'all. They didn't praise the gold eagle. I need y'all to get it.
Right.
They didn't praise the white wolf. I need y'all to get it.
Amen.
They didn't praise the sand snake. They didn't praise the claw snake.
Right.
I need y'all to get it now. They didn't praise the lightning. They didn't praise the sun. They praised the God of heaven.
Yes.
And they chose to praise him because he used the things around them to help them understand that he was real. They didn't praise the wind, the water. Come on, y'all.
That's it.
They didn't call him, Zeus. Come on, y'all. Thor. I need y'all to get it tonight. You need to relax and stand on your own. That's what happened. We always want to stand on everybody else's faith, but don't want to stand on ours. We always want to lean on everybody else's shoulder, but don't want to even hold on our own shoulder. I'm saying that for a reason, because that's what Paul was saying. He said it was not of works. Wasn't nothing that you can do. You can work all the days of your life. My grandma said, some of y'all, with all these chicken dinners, y'all killing all the chickens. Standing at the church, cleaning them the church, thinking they're going to get you into heaven. And some folks still figure, but all the money that they're putting in church, they're going to buy their way into heaven. I'm sorry, all you multi-billionaires, you ain't paid your way to nowhere but into a good grave.
Amen.
You done paid for the best funeral around heaven. You done paid for the best casket that you can find.
Yes.
You done paid for the best funeral that you can have. You done found the best preacher to give the best words at, give the best eulogy, and that's all it was. But God gonna say when he called the roll, your name might not be called.
Amen.
He gonna say, I made you, but I know you're not. See, we don't want to hear this because it's all about the prestigious. We got our names on the Walk of Fame. Come on, y'all.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. We're getting acclamations and exclamations and all of that other good stuff, because as we get ready to get into the book of Habakkuk, chapter number 2, verse 1-4. See, it ain't about making you feel good and telling you something, because if you look at the handwriting on the wall and you look at all of what's going on in the state of Georgia, you get ready to have now the Republican, runoff on Tuesday. Everything that's being set up around the world is being set up to bring you back 145,000 years.
Yes.
That's an exaggeration, but it brings you back to where God brought you from, and you don't even realize what's going on, and it's being done right in front of us. You're too blind to see it. It ain't about one specific race, but every race on the face of the earth, and in this country in which we live, we too blind to see where it's bringing us back. We're allowing it to happen because God has allowed our eyes to see it right in front of us, but because certain things have put us in certain arenas and put us in certain levels and put us around certain folk, we realize that it's going to cost us what we got, and we won't have access to what we need even in the church.
Amen.
Now, we don't want to hear this here today, but when we look at the book of Habakkuk, the prophet Habakkuk, when you look at these 3 chapters, this boy here, the sad part is that some of us don't want to sit down and have a conversation with God.
That's it.
Though he was the prophet of God, he's the only prophet that when you read of all of the prophets, the 17 prophetical books that were written and the 16 prophets that wrote, he's the only of the 16 prophets that wrote down what God had given, is the only one that has a prayer throughout his prophecy concerning what was going on, because he saw what was taking place.
Amen.
Took the time to have a conversation with God.
While having a conversation with God, he took the time to listen to what God had to say. He talked to God, but then he stopped talking to hear what God had to say and reply to his prayer. Ain't no different than Daniel.
Come on.
Daniel prayed, Daniel took time to listen to God. Ain't no different than David. David prayed unto God, but then David took time to listen to what God had to say. No different than Abraham. Abraham prayed unto God, but he stopped long enough to hear what God had to say. I'm going to go ahead and put a peg here. Sometimes we talk to our children or our children talk to us and we don't take time to really listen to what's being said in response to what we said, or while we're talking, our children over talk what we're saying. Y'all talk to me now. Don't misinterpret that, woman of God, because I want you to get it, because we can talk to God. And while God trying to talk to us, our mouths are still running and we miss what God's trying to say to us. That's what I wanted us to get. See, you still quiet because, see, our daughter, we talk to our daughter. While we talk to our daughter mouth start running and she missed the information that's being said and it get misinterpreted, and then conversation get twisted, and when conversation get twisted, now you got argument. Am I right about it? I'm using that as an example. I need you to get it. Because, see, here's what you ought to shout. We sit down and we talk to God. And we hear a voice start talking, and we override the voice that's beginning to talk, and we miss the information that's being said, and then we get out and start doing stuff, and we miss what was said of how to do it, and now we get stuck. Now talk to me. See, we don't want to hear that, because in the process of what God's telling us, we don't sit down and be quiet long enough to catch all the information that God is saying. And then when we don't see how to complete the task, we get discouraged and we walk off or we stop. Y'all talk to me.
Amen.
Come on now. We were shouting a minute ago. Don't hang up on me now. Because see, the things that will get us what we need to get, we don't want to get there. But the things that make us feel good, that's the things that we shout on. Y'all talk to me. So when we look at this thing and look at what Paul said, and he said, lest any man should boast. Because here at the end of the day, you got to do some things. Your faith will bring you to the place. Because grace has granted you the opportunity to now receive Christ. And grace has given you unmerited favor where you should be dead, where you should be outdoors, where you should not have, where you should be wearing the ragged clothes that you done tore up and you done cut up, where you should be cut off. Y'all talk to me.
Right.
But yet, grace allowed you to be in something. Grace allowed you to have something. Grace gave you the meal that you wanted to have. Grace allowed you to make sure that you was able to afford the meal. Grace allowed you to still be riding. Grace allowed you to still have lights. Grace allowed you to still have water. Grace allowed you like soda water. Now you was able to buy some soda water. Y'all talk to me.
Amen.
Yeah, y'all something simple today.
Come on.
So the book of chapter 2, because the boy sat down and had a conversation with God. When you have a conversation with God, how many of us take the time after praying? You done prayed for 30 minutes, but you won't even sit for 15 minutes to hear what God has to say. You done got up, you done said amen, now you done went about your way, and you won't take 5 seconds to listen to what God had to say.
Uh-huh.
Look at Elijah. While God was talking to Elijah, it said that the thunder came. Said the earthquake came. Y'all talk to me now. But it wasn't in all of that God started talking. It was when Elijah finally got still. When he got still long enough and nobody was around, because we got outside noises, we got inside noises. We have outside distractions, we got inside distractions. We got inside influences and we have outside influences, and we got outside interferences. And can I tell you, you got more inside interferences than you got outside interferences? Because the folk on the inside always want to interfere in you being capable of hearing from the Lord.
Amen.
Yes.
I want to talk about today, no attack. And say they got a whole lot of things that a lot of us have been waiting on for a long time. Y'all think about the folk that waited a long time. Abraham waited a long time for the promise that God had. Remember, we've been talking about promise since the 14th of this month.
Yes.
Talking about promise last Sunday.
Yes.
When you look at the fact that when a promise is made, it doesn't mean that all the time, immediately, that you're going to receive what had been promised. Sometimes they want to see how you're going to act and what you're going to do to be accountable and become responsible, so that when they give you what is promised, they know you can handle the promise that's been given.
Amen.
So here, Habakkuk, boy, start talking to God. And Habakkuk start off in his chapter number 1, he starts saying, I'm looking at the things that's going around. We talked on Wednesday night about how all the young folk are being killed.
Yes.
Question was raised on Wednesday night because my sister-in-law was saying that on the page, so many people said, if God is real and if there's a God, then why God allowing all these young folk to be killed and molested and hurt in the manner that he is? If he God, where was God when all of this happening? There were things that happened to us as a child, and we asked God, if you God, then why? Y'all talk to me now. The Bible said in this day, he looked at all of the things that were going on, and Israel was doing some things, and things were happening to Israel, and the wicked was doing a whole lot of stuff. In our day and time, better on the rampage.
Yes, Lord.
Y'all talk to me. Young man just yesterday in California decided to kill his grandmother and grandfather running into a store. Come on, y'all.
Wow.
Live on the news. Y'all talk to me now.
Right?
Look at the world right now. Everybody getting shot for no reason at all.
Yes.
Police officers getting killed for no reason at all.
No reason.
Police officers killing for no reason at all.
Amen.
The Bible tells us in Matthew chapter 24, he tells us Jesus began to run down what's going to happen in the end. So you're going to see him holler, look at Christ over here in the desert, look at you over here in the east, look at you up here in the mountains, and believe him not. He said there's going to be pestilence and famine, earthquake and divers places.
Yes.
Go on to tell you that he said because the love of many going to wax cold. Want to know why the world is like it is? He said because they're going to become lawless. And this is what was happening in the day of Habakkuk, and here it is again in the days of Christ, and here it is in our day. Men don't love each other.
That's it.
Paul began to tell us that in the last days that perilous times going to come. They came during his time, and they're still here.
Amen.
Men don't care about what you have. Robberies after robberies. They're walking in your yard now, broad daylight, no mask on, and steal your property.
That's
Yes,
it.
sir.
Huh?
Why
Just
won't
look
your
at the other
portraits,
day.
you know?
That's right. You look at the other day, my auntie was saying somebody walked in her yard, went in her garage, and stole her grandbaby bike. They prayed for a moment, and they brought it back and put it back where it was.
Wow.
Let me help y'all understand. You look at what Habakkuk in this chapter number 1, the boy talked about it, and God said who he was going to use. God said he was going to use the Chaldean, he was going to use the Babylonians, and now cause the wickedness of his people to be chastised. And the sad part here, look at the church.
Come on.
Church in a bad state.
Yes, we are.
Peter said that God said that judgment will begin at the house of God. If it begin at you and I, then where will the sinner and the ungodly appear? Wondering what's going on in the church, and God is exposing everything in the church. He said, though it tarry. You got many believers that believe in God, that are standing on God and doing everything they can to stay in a right relationship. Make sure that they mind in the right place, their emotions in the right place. They got the right kind of relationship with one another. They ain't looking at the pigmentation of somebody's skin. They ain't looking at the dollars that somebody had or don't have. Y'all talk to me now.
Right.
They ain't looking at the living condition that somebody got. And if they're able to make the condition better, they're doing it. But what they're doing, they're showing them how to now manage well what they got. Y'all talk to me.
Yeah.
One thing the church did in the first century church, when you look at Acts chapter 4, they did not just continue in the apostles' doctrine daily only, but they had all things in common. What simply meant, if you didn't have a job, you didn't know how to manage money, you didn't know how to manage your house well, they made sure that everybody understood. You didn't just were told what to do, you were shown what to do, and it was made sure you understood. If you messed it up, it wasn't because you wasn't taught well, you were educated well, and it was made sure you knew what you were doing when you left home. We do that now, and everything now costs $1.
Yes.
Everything now got to be made sure that you were paid into it. Pick out scripture now, because every time they went to the man of God, they brought a gift.
Yep.
Every time now you tell folk you want a blessing from God, bring a gift to the man of God. But they leave out certain texts where men of God will say, don't pay me nothing at all.
That's
Yeah,
it.
talk to me now.
That's it.
What does that have to do with Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1 through 4? I want you to read it for yourself, because, see, we always talk about right division, make it plain, because when the vision was written, when it was already said, when it was already stated, when you look at it and we really divulge and dig in the text, when he said, as that they may run, that they might get their lives together. Check the text. Let me read it for you. Verse number 1. I will stand upon my watch and set upon the tower and will watch watch to see what will he say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. In other words, he said, look, I'm gonna stand where I'm supposed to be at, and while I'm telling you what God is trying to tell me to tell you, I'm looking to see what's going on, and while I'm looking at the world and everything that's happening, I'm listening to hear what God gonna say. But while I'm telling you what God gonna tell me, and making sure that he fix me and get me right.
Well,
See, we as men and women of God, we won't tell everybody what God has for them and how God expects them to live. But how are we living?
Come on.
Let me use the words of Bernie Mac. Who you with and how you living?
well,
What manner of lifestyle do you have when you're not around the thousands of men and women that you are preaching to?
Come on.
Y'all gonna pray with me?
I'm
Get out your way in a minute, because see, I know a whole lot of things going on and should not be preaching the way that I'm preaching because of what we're facing and what we gotta do and what's standing there. But one thing I do believe God is, and that God is real and what he said.
Amen.
Man just said it to sound good, but I know God is not a God that will lie.
Come on.
Promises are sure. They're not slack concerning. Men count slackness. What I'm saying here today, when you look at it, he said I will stand upon my watch, because you got to think about it, chapter 1. He was looking at all that was going on. He saw the wickedness in the world. I don't just listen at the news. I don't just read what I see on social media, but I take time and I listen to what God has to say, because most of my information don't come out the newspaper, don't come off of social media, don't come off of Fox 5, it don't come off of CBS 46, don't come off of Channel 2, WBSU, Channel 2 News. It comes from God, baby.
Amen.
Can I tell you most of the information that I get and what's going on around the world come because I spend time with the Lord. That's Jesus. By the time I see it on the news, I've already saw it when God has shared it with me already. Why am I saying it? Because God's word is already mapping out, it's already mapped out what's going on. We quick to holler about ain't nothing new under the sun. No, ain't nothing new under the sun. But can I tell you, everything that's going around, it's repeating itself, but it's getting wickeder and wickeder because man now has become a little wiser in what they're doing. He's become more knowledgeable and how he can go about doing it. And he's become more deceptive in his deceiving on how he can get it done, even in the church.
Amen.
Listen to that message from about a year ago. One of my brothers and considering to be a son in the ministry, Mark, and he preached at a church called Reverend Baptist Church. Pastor Howard Smith, and we prayed for him and his family. They laid to rest his father, I believe it was on yesterday, and father was a prominent, very well respected man in city of wrestling or town of wrestling, and very prominent man of God in the church, very strong deacon in the word of God, lived what he preaching, even when he stumbled along the way, he lived by what he said. But my words are these here. Mark preached a message in the message, he talked about snakes in the church.
Amen.
We look at the book of Acts, and Paul found himself being shipwrecked, and while warming himself by a fire, one of the greatest vipers in that day had jumped out the fire, bit Paul on the hand, and everybody looking for Paul to die. And I tell you, when you look at the message today, though it tarry, some folk waiting for you to die.
Come on.
Look at what Habakkuk is saying here. They're looking for your ministry to die.
Yes.
Look at what Habakkuk said here, just like with Paul, they stood around because many others that had been bitten by the same venomous snake had died immediately. And Paul shook the snake off his head, shook it back in the fire, and the snake died. Can I tell you, God trying to tell you, shake some of the snakes off.
My Lord.
Though it tarry, shake them off. Though it tarry, don't worry about it, stand on your watch. When God tried to reprove you, when God tried to get out of you the things that's not right, so he can realign you and reposition you and put you back in the right position, and now to receive the blessing. See, even with our children, God only trying to get you back in position because you want the things that you want it when you want it, you know what it is that you want, but have you now put yourself in position to be obedient? Stop being defiant and stop being reluctant to follow instruction. He said, look, you need to do what God said do. He said, dear children, he said, follow a father, follow a mother, that thy days may be long on the land where you live. Not that you might live physically, but that you might have the finances that you want, that you might have the health that you want, that you might get the clothes that you want, that you might be in position that you want, that you might get the TV time that you want. Can I talk? Children talk?
Come on.
You might get the toys that you want. You might get the electronic devices that you want. Y'all talk to me now.
Yeah,
take the time to pull daddy and mama by itself? Y'all know how y'all want to share y'all story with them? How y'all want them to hear it?
Come on.
Leaving out important details, important information, information that goes along with what you saying, or you change certain words, you put word in there that you want so that it makes you either look good or make the other person look bad.
Right.
Text said, I was standing upon my watch. Let me ask y'all a question. Preachers today, pastors today, leaders today, apostles today, are you standing on your watch? Or are you just telling the people what you think gonna make them feel good?
Yes.
You giving them a word of peace instead of telling them, God said, get it right. Come out of what you're doing. Come out from among them. Stop doing what you're doing. Look at the world around you. Change how you handle your business. Mismanaging what God has gave you. Misappropriating the gifts that God gave. Laying hands on folk you ain't got no business laying hands. Giving words to folk that God has not given you a word to. Seeing things that God did not envision you. Come on, y'all.
That's it.
Can I help y'all today?
Help us out.
Getting ready to get out your way, because when you talk about though it tarry, he wanted them to understand, look, it's a time off for when they get ready to come. And when they get ready to come, I'm going to tell you, it's going to come as a thief in the night. Jesus said when they get ready to come, I'm going to come as a thief in the night, and you ain't going to know it. That's why I said, tell them, two going to be in the field, one going to be taken, and one going to be up behind. Two going to be in the house, one going to be taken. Two going to be on the rooftop, and one going to be taken, and the other going to be left. Two going to be grinding, and one going to be taken, and the other going to be. In other words, you ain't going to be knowing who going to be taken.
That's it.
But you ought to be ready.
Amen.
Though it tarry, you done prayed, and God done made some promises to you. God done gave you a vision of how to build the ministry. He done told you how to go out and spread his word.
Come on.
He done told you the group of people who it is that you are to minister the word to. But you won't even go in the whole den.
Come on.
You won't even go in the drug den. You won't even go in the area where the gangbangers are.
You
Are y'all
ain't
gonna
saying
with me?
I'm praying with you.
Huh? You won't even go in the area where it's impoverished. You want to make sure where you go is where middle class is, upper class. You want to go where you strategically place yourself instead of strategically putting yourself where God said, because it don't look like it will financially fund what you got. You don't want to go where it look like you gonna struggle.
Come on.
You don't want to go where it don't look like they're going to give tithe and offering.
Come on.
You don't want to go where it doesn't look like you're going to get the kind of money you got coming in so you can drive the car you want to drive, wear the clothes you want to wear. Y'all going to talk to me today? Eat at the finest of restaurants, but the sad part is that you don't want to go in the area where you got to get dirty, you got to get in, and you got to mine the area, you got to excavate the area, you got to go and survey the area. So Habakkuk here, he was looking at all that was going on, talking to God. I see what's happening here. See the death that's in the land. See the murderers that are doing the murder. See the robbers that's doing the robbing. See the thieves that are thieving. I see the preachers that are preaching hope and joy while they're stealing out of the pockets of the people of God. Laying hands on folk. Folks still sick in the mind.
Jesus.
Still mentally sick. Psychologically sick. Physically sick. Spiritually sick. Socially sick. And that's why their finances are sick. Came in and marriages were fine. And now they got disrupted marriages because leaders got sicknesses in their own. Come on, y'all. Can I help y'all today?
Yes.
Get ready to get out your way, because he said, I will stand upon my watch. Sit upon my watch. My eyes got to be ready to open. Can see only what my natural eye, because I'm looking to see what I can get into. Looking to see who I can influence my way. Looking to listen at how feeble-minded and fickle some folk is. How simple-minded some folk is. How easily I can sway or persuade folk. Trying to see who is gullible in the ministry.
Come on.
Trying to see who ain't really paying attention to what I'm saying. And my holler about Humpty Dumpty, sat on the wall, Humpty Dumpty, and a great fall. Come on, y'all.
Come on.
Trying to say Peter Piper picked a peck. Pick a peck. Y'all talk to me now. Huh? Giving you a nursery rhyme, leaving out the word of God. And I'm going to set up on the tower while I'm standing upon my watch. And On my watch, I'm staying in God's word. God's word gonna give me direction. On my watch, I'm studying God's word, and I'm now making sure that I'm approved before God. While I'm sitting upon the tower, while I'm looking upon the tower, I'm watching in the distance to see when the enemy is trying to get ready to attack. Because while I'm sitting on my watch, I'm looking in all directions, north, south, east, and west. Looking northwest, north, east. I'm looking southwest and southeast. I'm looking in each direction because don't know when the enemy go attack. So I'm sitting on the tower and my eyes are focused mentally, emotionally, spiritually. If I'm consciously aware and subconsciously aware what's going on, but what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I got some trained soldiers around. Y'all
That's it. That's it.
because when my body get tired and my mind get to the place to where I need rest, I gotta have some soldiers around.
Come on.
That can carry on while I'm resting, while my eyes are resting, but my ears gotta stay planted to where while I'm on the tower, I can yell in the distance. Sound of the rumbling of the ground. Recognize the vibration of the foot soldiers getting ready to come. Can you tell when the enemy foot soldiers are coming around you? Can you feel the difference in the atmosphere where it done shifted from God, got still and cold? Now you can feel the vibration of demonic presence around.
Come on.
Y'all gonna pray with me?
Yes.
Look at what he said. I was standing upon my watch, and I was set upon the tower, and I watched to see what he will say unto me. Are you really paying attention to God? Have you got so educated that now your education have taken you away from hearing God, and all it is what you learned in school? And yeah, I said school and not school. The reason why I said school, because some of y'all, as James said, ever learned. Paul said, ever learned and never come to the truth. That some of y'all teachers need to go back and be taught.
Come on.
You got so much knowledge, but you ain't got no spirit, denying the power thereof.
Amen.
You really listen to what God said, or did you hear what you said and thought it was God?
My Lord.
You hear what Satan whispered in your ear, and it sounded like God because he could mimic the spirit.
Amen.
Y'all remember the movie Mimic? Mimic was able to look just like everybody else. Mimic was able to now mimic the presence of people around. But the eyes were shifted. Y'all talk to me now. Ain't no different than the little thing you like to look at, Bella. You know the little grandma thing in there, you know, at one point grandma looked like everybody, and all of a sudden grandma's eyes shifted to be white. Then when you look again, grandma was on the ground looking like a crab crawling on the ground. That's how the enemy is. Have you taken the time to really listen at God? And sometimes God, through his word, really spending time with him and not trying to understand everything in it, but trying to hear from God.
Amen.
This morning while we were sitting at the table preparing the service, all kind of music was playing. Gospel music was playing. Gospel preaching was going. Conversation was going. And I had to tell my family, look, need y'all to shift what's going on. I cannot hear from God.
Amen.
By the time everybody began to settle down and got quiet, I was able to distinguish God more. Have you now caused the people around you to get still, get quiet, and shut down some of the noise so you can hear? Are y'all gonna pray with me? Though it tarries sometime in the tarrying, you got to shift the atmosphere around you. You got to quieten down the things that's there. You got to steal some of the voices. You got to shift the noise that around you so you can hear the voice of God.
Amen.
What did I got to do with tarrying? Because he said, what shall he say unto me? And what shall am I going to be able to answer? Well, look at Ezekiel. While he was out in the valley, drive off. Said the Spirit of the Lord carried him out in a valley. Down in a low valley, with low and now with bones in the valley. Oh, y'all might not feel what I feel, but my head got a whole lot of chills. And he said, wow, I was in the valley. He showed me some bones and they were very dry. Then the voice of the Lord said, son of man, can these bones live? Said, I sat on my watch. While I was on my watch, I'm looking to the north. I ain't seen nothing coming from the north and look down to the south, and nothing came from the south, and I looked out to the west, and I ain't seen nothing coming from the west, and I looked to the east, and there was nothing coming to the east, and look northeast and northwest, and look southeast and southwest, and I sat there for a moment. While I was on the tower, I got still. Then all of a sudden the Lord started talking. While he was talking, I said, now I hear you, Lord, and He said, what shall you say? Ezekiel said, the boy said, son of man, can these bones live? And see, some of y'all too quick to open your mouth. Mama asked you a question, and before you can think about the question, your mouth is already gave mama an answer. Started listening real well and said, well, got to do sometime like Ezekiel did. Thou knowest. Sometimes that's the best answer because God already knows your mouth gonna speak. Like my great grandmother said, your mouth gonna hold your behind.
That's it. Right.
God already knows you gonna say something that's gonna get you in trouble because you think you know. See, know-it-alls get themselves in trouble. Y'all gonna pray with me? I'm almost soon gonna get through these last few verses because sometimes God allow things to tarry because he want to reprove you. Because that's what happened at the end of the verse. It said, what shall I answer when I am reproved? See, some of y'all don't like to be reproved by God, and that's why Paul said to Timothy, 2 Timothy chapter number 4, Paul said sometimes God will reprove us.
Yes.
He said, the man of God, when he began to deal with us, rather chapter number 3, he said God reproves us. He said that the word of God will teach us, it will build us, it will groom us, but it will rebuke us, but it also will reprove us. In other words, it will realign us, it will straighten us out, it will put us back in proper order, it will set us in God's order, it will set us in divine order, it will set us in spiritual order, it will now place us back in natural order. And when these things happen now, the finances will begin to work right. Our emotions will become stable. Our psychological being will become now stabilized. And our mental capability will be able to respond as God said. So he said, what will I answer when he reproved me? He said, well, the Lord answered me and said, write the vision. God told many of y'all, see, we quick to write down a whole lot of visions.
Yes.
But ain't now one of y'all done got up and really work the vision.
Amen.
Can I tell you, when you write it down, sometimes writing it down is good, but other times while you're writing, you got to get up and do it because even though you saw it in the mind or you saw it in the spirit, it ain't always about a physical building, but it is about physical building.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what it really means for some of y'all? And that is each one of us is a physical building.
Amen.
Yes.
And are you really building the physical building?
My Lord.
In order to get the physical edifice that you want.
Well,
Have you really tore down some walls and reinforced some walls?
Come on.
Have you really looked at some of the infrastructure in some folks' lives while you're writing your vision down?
come on.
He done sent you back to some suburbs. He done sent you back to some hell holes. He done sent you back to some whoring holes. He done sent you back to some alcohol holes.
Yes.
And he done sent you in some places you ain't never been before.
Come on now.
And matter of fact, some of y'all been some wicked black magic folk. Y'all go pray with me, and while he done got you out and you done came out from among them and you done separated yourself because he had to reprove some things. In other words, he had to take some things out of you. And while he was taking it out, he now had to make sure it did not have access back to you.
Yes,
See, some of y'all are easily able to go to backbiting all over again.
Come on.
Some of y'all are able to either start picking up a lying spirit all over again.
Yes.
And some of us, it's not hard to start alcohol again, drugs again, playing around again, cheating again. Are y'all with me? Steal it again. Come on, y'all. Are y'all gonna pray with me in this place? When God reprove you, he gotta now take some things out and he gotta strengthen some things in you that it do not come back. So it may not look like your vision coming to pass, but God, when he do some reconstruction and when he reconstruct who you are, the vision ain't died and the vision will come to pass. But in order for him to fill up the house, he gotta clean the house.
Come on now.
Got a witness in
Yes.
here.
Well,
And that's why he said that the Lord answered, write the vision and make it plain that
he may run and read it.
Mm.
Now, see, some of y'all have wrote down real good vision.
Well,
And I don't want you to think that I'm changing your vision.
Come on.
And I don't want you to go and change your vision. But when you wrote your vision of your business and your business, you wrote the vision of the ministry that God had gave you. In writing your vision, did it make folk run because they were ready to be converted?
Come on.
Check the text, y'all, and look at what Habakkuk was saying. He said, write the vision and make it plain. And while you're making it plain upon the tablets, that he may run and read it. In other words, while it's being as they and while it's saying what need to be said, it make him look at his or herself.
well,
Have your vision cause folk to find themselves convicted by God and not convicted by you?
mm.
I'm getting ready to
Come
go.
Come
The
on.
doors are open.
You just sent the invitation.
Listen, though it tarry, he said, for yet the vision is for an appointed time. He said, look, son, I know you see all that's going on. The GOP gubernatorial Republican runoff is on Tuesday. And all the endorsements are coming and all the vast things are being said and lieutenant governors being ran for it. You know, Secretary of State is being run for again. And, you know, they're preparing for the 2020 election for
Yes.
president and all of the other offices that are being ran for and treasurers being ran for and so on and so forth. And people are politicking and positioning themselves. But has the church really positioned itself?
Come on.
The reason why God keep allowing my mouth to say it is because the church is not in position as it should.
Amen.
Notice I did not say the church was completely out of position,
Well,
but I did say the church is not in position as it should.
mm.
Because we still are looking at our independent denomination.
Come on.
Ooh.
And in our independent denominations, it ain't really looking at Christ because it's our independent doctrine nations that we are looking at.
Amen.
It's our independent teachings why we teach that we are one, but at the same time, we're teaching how to be segregated one from another.
True.
And in that, we are teaching how to build finances only and not how to build lives that incorporate managing wealth, that in turn incorporates building wealth and finance.
Come on.
Well,
And if we look at throughout the word of God and throughout the writings, it shows the very same principle that I just said.
also,
And if you don't believe it, you can check it for yourself. It's why he said, though the vision tarry.
hmm.
And let me encourage many of you because, see, some of you, God gave the vision, but you ran to so different many leaders and you ran to many different fellowships and when it didn't look like they were giving you what you wanted because when you ran that, you didn't run for the stability of teaching. You didn't run for the stability of insight. You didn't run for the stability of making sure you were teaching the right things and you were leading people in the right way and you were maturing in the giftings that God gave so that when God brought in the people that he needed to be up under the leadership that he was showing you that you had to go into the territories that God said for you to go into. It was only about popularity. It was only about positioning and it was only about finances. And when you couldn't get it where you thought you wanted to get it and you couldn't get it who you wanted to get it from, you now put yourself out there and prostituted yourself physically and spiritually, mentally and morally. And then when you felt rejected, you stopped.
Amen.
Though it tarry. Though it tarry simply means this. This is what I heard God say this morning.
and sitting at the table looking back at it when he gave it to me on last night, and sitting at the table looking at it again. Some of you need to be still. Set up under the leaders that God first sent you to. Learn what it is and how to now deal in the areas, because, see, God put you in specific territories, because where certain leaders are in the territories, there are some territorial demons that came up that they cannot handle, that they missed, and they got them inside their ministries, and they have no longer set upon their towers. They're no longer setting upon their watch, and they're no longer listening to hear what God has to say, and they're not waiting for what it is. And when they get ready to answer, they're not looking to see how he's going to reprove them. And when he has reproved them, they have moved out of the way and done their own thing. And now it shifted the body that's there.
Yeah.
I need y'all to hear the Spirit of the Lord this morning. Though it tarry, may look like it's taking a while, may look like you ain't got the money coming in,
Amen.
may look like the folk ain't coming, may look like folk don't want to be bothered, may look like nobody really want to sow into you, may look like nobody want to hear what you have to say. But if God has ordained, it's been appointed by God. It's been anointed by God. And what's been anointed and appointed by God, can I tell you, folk don't want to hear the anointed and appointed word of God, because now it reproves them. It rebukes them. It instructs them.
Amen.
That the man or the woman of God may be thoroughly furnished under all good works.
Right. That's right.
That's why God had Paul say, he said that the word of God was given by the Spirit of God. It will reprove. It will rebuke. It will instruct. And the sad part is we don't want to be reproved of nothing. We don't want God to take anything out of us. We don't want God to shift anything in us. We don't want God to remove anything from us. We don't want God to point at us and show us and hold us accountable and make us responsible for what we've done. We don't want God to instruct us in anything. And how God does it, either through his word, by his spirit, by the things he allowed to happen, or he'll let somebody speak what it is that now causes us to be spiritually convicted, that allow us to mentally, psychologically, and causes us to consciously be convicted, that physically set the conviction in a way that now we stop. Come on, y'all.
Well,
He said, though the vision, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. He said, look at what's going to happen. It's going to tell on itself. It's going to show why God said it. And if God gave the vision and he showed you who it is and what area he sent you to, stop running all over town. Stop moving from one area to the next area. When the time has ran out, God will let you know when it's time to move. And when you haven't moved, God will move you. And in moving you, God will take the frame. When people don't want to receive, I hear you, Holy Ghost. This is for Shepherd. And this is for those that will receive and have been hearing and seeing it as well. When the folk where you at and you have been, for however long you've been there, will not receive God and have not recognized that God have been present and have protected them and have given them his protection, will not receive the protection of God and have heard the voice of God, and God have moved them to sow, God have moved them to do, God have moved them to bless you, and they haven't. God will take and give them an Ichabod spirit. I need y'all to receive it. Here's somebody prophetic word. God have moved you out and have caused an Ichabod spirit to now rest in the place where you are while he's protecting you. Come on, y'all. Need y'all to get it. You are the Obed Edom. You carry the Ark of the Covenant in your life. Your family has been protected. But they're trying to figure out why they have no protection. God have moved the covering that he had on them while you were there from them back to you. And they got an Ichabod spirit. Now God is about to move you out of the place where you are. And where they had no damage, where there was no crime, where there were no trees falling, where there was no dread, where there was no murders in the neighborhood. God about to move you out. While moving you out, God is about to move his covenant away. And when the covenant leaves, now danger now moves back. Y'all need to get it.
I need that right now.
Need y'all to get it today. Need y'all to get it. I just heard the Lord say, just listen at him. And I want you to try the spirit of the Lord. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try every spirit, whether it be of God or not. I just heard God said, I just saw it as I looked in yonder trees, and God said, there's an Ichabod spirit that he just gave something for. And that's why where you at, he had to move you. Can I tell you, he didn't send you back to some of the places that some of y'all just ran back to? Some of y'all ministries, God moved it away from where it was for a reason, because you were being drained. You ran back because you felt you had no choice. Somebody need to hear that today. Need y'all to get it today. Some of y'all went back around some friends. God didn't tell you to stop talking to him when you see him. He told you to say hey and bye. But y'all are now reconnected. And in the reconnection, you're wondering why certain things are happening. You went about your course and you rejected God. While rejecting God, God still kept his cover over you. And while he kept his cover over you, he tried to bring you back where the protection was at, to put you back in line, to put you back in position so that you could receive the blessing he wanted you to receive. But you rejected him. And now while God is trying to bring you back into the fold of blessing, you still rejecting him because of what you want, because where you was at, it was rebuking, it was reproving, it was instructing, it was filling, but all you wanted was the blessing, and you didn't want to change.
My Lord.
Ichabod now done showed up. The glory of God has departed. He said, vision may tarry. The vision speaking today. Some of y'all that went back into some places, and some of y'all that reconnected with some leaders that God didn't tell you to reconnect with. And you thought you heard God. God needed you to go back and fix what was there when you severed the connection, so that while you were moving to the connection that he was leading you to, you can now go with freedom and release, in order for him to release in you the blessing that was needed while you was with the leader that he needed you to be a part of. That would now cause you to become grounded. And in the grounding where you would be at now, you can be released into what was needed to deal with the territory where God had caught. I need y'all to get it today. I'm releasing unto you today. Here's your apostolic release today.
My Lord.
God that released us, and then releasing us, we got to be prepared. The preparation been for 6 years. If you ain't caught it, you're going to be left behind.
Amen.
I need y'all to catch it today, Shepherd. And all of you that's watching, God can cause you to move with some natural folk. You think that this is just a natural thing and you won't catch spiritual only when it's time for Sunday to come and when it's time for Bible class to come. Can I tell you, you live in a spiritual world while you walk in a natural world every day?
Amen.
You live between two worlds simultaneously at the same time.
My Lord.
Though it tarry. God been speaking to some of y'all because the vision that finally tarried to his end. Now the vision is now coming to fruition because the seed, the finish breaking ground, and it's time now for the fruit that has grown to produce it. It's time for it to be harvested. God came now for his harvest. But it came because of the glory to depart. And some of y'all still in the same ground where he tried to transplant you from. And you went and planted yourself back where God transplanted you from. And because you wasn't getting what you thought you should get, how you thought you should get it, you didn't wait long enough to be in the ground, to take root. See, some of y'all I hear you, Holy Ghost. Y'all can try the Spirit of God. I need y'all to try. Some of y'all didn't stay in the ground long enough to take root. In order for the Spirit of the Lord to cause you to now fruitate.
Come on.
The reason why you haven't fruitated is because you plucked yourself up, not God, and said God plucked you up and planted you somewhere. God didn't pluck you up, you plucked yourself up. Then when it started dying, while you thought it was growing, now you just happen to get in the ground and somebody now pulled the wool over your eyes and they deceived you with a strong delusion. And then when it started dying because they took all of what you had, then you had nothing, you had to back off. Then you wanted to tap back into where you were really getting, where you were really growing. But you can't even break the ground to now get back planted in the ground.
And that's only because God had made the ground too hard for you to break. The only one that can break the ground for to plant you back in the ground is the leader that God had placed over it. What you had tried to do, what you're still doing, you trying to circumvent the leader. The man or the woman of God that God had placed over the house. You trying to go around the leader and plant yourself in the ground. God done put some spiritual round up on you.
All right.
He done put some diesel on other y'all. They didn't even cause some fire to burn some of y'all up.
My Lord.
Habakkuk, by the time you get to chapter 3, he closes out with a prayer. And as Habakkuk closes out with the prayer, the whole thing was he had a conversation with God. And in that conversation with God, he saw how God would use an ungodly people to chastise a godly people. While God chastising godly people and an ungodly people, he bring the godly people back to full godliness and righteousness because they had become unrighteous in their righteous walk. And what they were calling righteous was unrighteous. And God is doing it with the church right now.
Amen.
And those of us that know that we are not completely in a righteous state have now asked God for forgiveness to get back in a right state and in right standing. And God now has honored that and elevated. And you're finding reasons to say that they're not. Uh-oh. I hear you. Jesus said, come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. I told you the invitation is being extended. It's been extended. It's been open. The door's been open. The church doors are never closed. But God just gave some folk an Ichabod spirit. The reason why he gave an Ichabod spirit, he's moving you from where you are because they could not receive who and what your ministry was. And can I tell you, that ain't just dealing with church. That's why he moved y'all out of some friendships. That's why he has fixed some relationships that they're no more like they are. I need y'all to catch it today. You have now tried to reconcile in certain of these marriages. He tried to reconcile in certain of these churches, and God have moved some of y'all out. But then God been trying to get some of y'all to leave out, and y'all wouldn't leave out, and you're wondering why you're going through what you're going through. He done tried to get you to leave, and the Spirit of the Lord you recognize was no longer there, and you're trying to dance like you used to dance. That's what happened with David. When the Spirit of the Lord left David, God saw that it had left. The church saw that it left, and they put David out.
Come on.
Get back in line.
Well, not only do they need to get back in line, Christian, but they're going to get mad because God getting ready to have a leader to put some of y'all out. Not because you're not godly, but because God been trying to get you out to get you where he needs you to be. Because he left there. They think God left you, but God never left you. He left them. But to get you to see it, he going to have them put you out. Then you're going to recognize that his spirit is still in you. The Ichabod is in the ministries where you are, but the glory is still resting in you because you're the Obed Edom. Before God allowed them to continue to tap into his glory and receive his blessings all for credit while they tap into you and you don't realize it. And that's why you staying sick mentally. That's why you staying with headaches. That's why you staying with body aches. That's why you staying with stomach aches. That's why you staying in the hospital. They can't find nothing wrong because they have tapped. I need y'all to get it today, y'all. Let's operate in the prophetic. Because see, I ain't gonna tell you the Lord said he saw this and he gonna give you it. Now I need you to understand before you can tap into full blessings, you gotta now be reproved, baby. He's moving you out of some things.
Amen.
Because he can't get into you what he needs to, because you still tied to some inside interferences. For those of you that love football, you know there's interference. Pass on the play. Interference, offensive pass interference, defensive pass interference. Somebody that got in the way, they've instructed you for being able to catch the pass and didn't give you an opportunity to get it. And that's what has happened spiritually for some of y'all. God bless you. God keep you. Though it tarry, now it's speaking. While it's speaking, God has brought the vision to pass.